Welcome to this explainer. Today, I am stepping in as your Stoic teacher. We're going to be looking at a concept that honestly sounds incredibly heavy at first, but I promise you it's actually deeply liberating. The concept is Memento Mori. Now, before we really dive in, let's just establish a calm, safe space here. We are discussing mortality today, but we're using it strictly as a tool for clarity. This is just a thinking exercise, not a substitute for medical or mental health support, right? If the topic feels a bit too heavy for you today, absolutely feel free to step back. But if you're ready, let's explore how acknowledging the natural limit of life can actually become your absolute greatest asset.
Okay, let's start with the definition. Memento Mori is Latin for remember you will die. And yeah, I know, it sounds pretty grim at first glance, but I want you to completely reframe how you think about it. This is not some dark, morbid fixation, it's an ancient, clarifying lens. When you use it correctly, it doesn't make your life feel smaller or scarier. Actually, it does the exact opposite. It makes all those trivial, everyday annoyances just fall right away. And the truly important things, they snap right into crisp focus. It's like putting on a pair of glasses you didn't even know you needed.
The Roman emperor and famous Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius was a huge champion of this idea. He wrote, "Death is a natural change, something that happens to everything that lives, so it cannot reasonably be called an evil." I just love that perspective. The Stoics viewed death with complete, utter neutrality. Think about it kind of like spring turning into summer or leaves falling in autumn. It just is. The intense fear we feel, well, that is just a story, an opinion really, that we attach to an otherwise completely neutral, natural event.
So this brings us to the core mindset shift we're aiming for today. It's actually quite simple. We're moving away from viewing death as some horror to flee, and instead, we're practicing accepting it as a natural change. We are just wiping away that ingrained opinion that death is the ultimate enemy. Instead, we're trying to see it as a neutral limit to our existence, just a plain fact to keep in our peripheral vision.
Now, you might be wondering, why even keep this limit in view at all? Well, because a limit creates urgency, and urgency creates intense clarity. But there is a really crucial distinction we need to make here. We are moving away from panicked urgency, running around terrified that time is running out, and we are cultivating what we call focused urgency. Knowing your time is limited prevents you from just phoning it in. It literally stops you from treating today like it's just some waiting room, a mere placeholder before your real life eventually begins.
Let's move into Section 1, the filter and practice, Maya and Tom.
First up, let me introduce you to Tom. Tom is dealing with a classic petty work grudge stew. A colleague took credit for his work in a meeting, and Tom has been stewing over this for an entire week. This anger is completely hijacking his morning commute, it's in his head while he takes a shower, it's even ruining his sleep. Without even realizing it, Tom is renting out precious, finite space in his very limited life to something completely, utterly trivial. And this is exactly where Tom can apply the Memento Mori filter. He just needs to stop and ask himself, on the last day of my life, will this rank anywhere? I want you to just pause and let the weight of that question land for a second. Instantly, right? Tom's grudge completely fails the test. By realizing it won't matter at all at the end of his life, he isn't pretending the situation was fair. He's just refusing to spend his finite, irreplaceable time on it. He drops the rumination right then and there, and he reclaims his afternoon.
But listen, what if your issue isn't a petty grudge? Let's meet Maya. Maya is dealing with a deferred dream. She has wanted to write a book for a decade, but she just keeps waiting. You know the drill. A busier season is coming up at work, she doesn't feel totally ready, the timing just isn't quite perfect. But beneath all those excuses is really just the petty fear that her first draft is going to be bad. So she's pushing her real life, her real passion, off into some vague someday. For Maya, we use a slightly different filter. We ask, if I had exactly 1 year left, what would I stop tolerating, and what would I finally begin? Faced with this last year question, the truth becomes totally undeniable for her. Her true regret wouldn't be writing a few rough, messy early drafts. Her ultimate regret would be, I never even started. This realization shrinks her fear of failure down to nothing. It prompts her to sit down and actually write 200 words the very next morning. It creates movement.
All right, Section 2, the blueprint, the 5-step method.
So how do we actually do this? Step 1, use this concept as a filter, not a fixation. Look through this lens for a minute or two, glean the clarity, and then put it down. Step 2, whenever you find yourself worried or stressed, ask the deathbed question to just wipe away the trivial stuff. Step 3, turn the lens on your life's trajectory and ask the last year question to hear what you actually truly value. Step 4, act as if your very next ordinary action truly counts. And finally, step 5, convert this massive insight into one small start.
Pick one concrete step for this week that is so incredibly small you literally cannot talk yourself out of doing it.
Moving right along to Section 3, Guardrails, Avoiding the Morbid Trap.
Now, it's super important to know how to use this tool safely so you don't accidentally slide into anxiety. If you find yourself slipping into endless rumination, the Stoic fix here is simple. Keep the reflection brief and always end on a physical action. If you experience a sudden jolt of clarity but don't take a step, like you feel super inspired but then just go back to scrolling on your phone, you need to name one small, dated action immediately. And if you find yourself treating death like an enemy you have to defeat, just remind yourself, acceptance. You aren't trying to conquer it. The Stoic move is just letting the fact be true so your present life can become incredibly vivid.
So to quickly recap our explainer today, Memento Mori is a profound tool for clarity, definitely not for dread. Remember, death is just a natural change. We can run our daily worries through the deathbed filter to stop wasting our finite time on nonsense, just like Tom did. We can ask the one-year question to surface what genuinely matters to us, like Maya. Commit to doing the very next thing fully, and always end your reflection with one small, specifically dated step.
I want to conclude this explainer with one final provocative thought for you to chew on. Ask yourself honestly, right now, in this exact moment, which feels stronger to you? The immense relief of finally dropping your petty worries, or the magnetic pull toward your long-deferred dream? Whichever one it is, listen to it. That is the part of your life asking for your attention right now. Don't wait for some magical someday. Take that one small step today.